Good morning, everyone. This is Gail with Traders Help Desk. It's July 14th, and I wanted to go over the indices futures and the currency futures for those that trade those instruments. Now, as you can see, I have the ES up, and this is the continuous contract because I am looking at higher time frames. And the one thing that concerns me is we are overextended on both the weekly and the 6-hour chart. I do think we may get a trend divergence on the daily chart. But the thing to remember is that this market is trending up right now. And if you're trying to go short, then you are counter trend trading. And you do have to wait for a potential setup on that. You do see that we're overextended on the weekly. We are making higher highs, but the stochastics is not. So that tells you there is a potential there for a retracement, but you need to get a bearish bar first. And then, of course, if you go down to the 6-hour chart, you can see that using both the RSI and the ADX, we are making higher highs, but these are making lower lows. Okay, so that's telling us that we're probably going to get a retracement. Again, this would be a counter trend trade, so you do need to be careful trading that. On the NASDAQ, you pretty much have the same setup. Okay, over here you are still overextended. Okay, and notice that the RSI is not getting stronger, nor is the ADX. So that's telling me that the trend is potentially slowing down. But again, the trend is to the upside. If you do take a short, then you need to have the setup very clear. And that means you need a bearish bar, then go down and confirm it with your lower time frames for entry. If we go over to the Russell, you can see the Russell is just now approaching the overbought status. But also notice that this is not trending up on the weekly. The Russell is really the only one that is not trending up. And we have this double top formation over on the 6-hour chart. That may indicate that we get some downward pressure the first part of the week. If we go over and look at the Dow Jones, this is very similar to what the ES and the Dow, the NASDAQ, no, the ES and the NASDAQ, sorry about that. You are overextended over here on your weekly. You will probably get a trend divergence on the daily sometime this week. And of course, over on the 6-hour, you are overextended as well on the stochastics and on the ADX. Generally, this will indicate a retracement down to the ATR, which is at 26,961. Again, we have very specific criteria for doing a counter trend trade. As you can see, both the weekly and the daily is trending up, okay? But you will more than likely get a retracement on this lower time frame. Then if we go and look at the Aussie, you can see that the Aussie is approaching the ATR. This is in a consolidation phase right now. I would think that it will actually break through this ATR simply because the stochastics has now turned up. I would anticipate a zero line reject on this RSI, and that's what I would be looking for on that one. I do think we're going to hit the 70.46. We will probably have a slight retracement off of that, but I think overall we're probably going to go up to 71.01 on the Aussie future. Now on the British pound future, you can see that this has just had a divergence move. It just formed that reversal bar to the upside. We were overextended. We have the magenta peak here. We should go up to about 26.86. And there's room for the stochastics to move up. Now, when it gets here, that's going to be an important question, whether this market continues up to the 29.75 area. And then on the Canadian futures, we'll shrink these down so you can see them. We have a market that is overextended on the weekly, but I would anticipate seeing a divergence here on the daily, or we could have a double top formation here and then this go down. I think we might go just a little bit higher on the daily before that occurs. Now, as far as the euro currency future, you can see we went back to this ATR. We did test it. They were unable to break through it. And it has come back down. And I think it may try to test 12.13. In the meantime, though, we've had a magenta peak over here that should push it back to about 13.91 before it actually comes down. Now, this actually indicates a potential for a zero line reject. Now, I would not be anticipating that as much since we just had that pivot low formation. I do think we might make it up to 13.91 before we actually move down lower. Then on the yen currency future, you can see we're reaching up for the ATR here. You can also see that here we were overextended. This is going to be a zero line reject to the upside. The important question is whether the 93.41 area holds. And currently the way it looks, I don't think it's going to hold. I think they may go back through it. It may even come back to 94.22. They may even break through that area. So I would be looking potentially for a long on the Japanese yen futures. So we do these in the coaching sessions every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Of course, we do go more into depth on that. We do have currently a TradingView special that comes with the indicators and the coaching sessions for 1 year for $13.95. If you visit my website, and I have the link below, you can actually take advantage of that special. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so anytime that I actually do a video, you'll be notified. Thank you and have a wonderful day.